And we now welcome back to the show Jiyeon, the deputy spokesperson for Moon Jae-in's campaign. Jiyeon, thank you so much for being here again with us.
Yes, Scott, good to see you again.
Now we're 5 days out from Election Day. Curious, what is the biggest challenge that your campaign is facing as Election Day nears?
People say it's an academic game, right? 49 versus 51. It's going to be a very close game. So it seems likely that this election is categorized as a fight of the conservative and the progressive side. And under these kind of circumstances, people in the center, their opinions and their views are going to be extremely important. So we want to persuade the people in the center who do not support the UP, just vote for Moon Jae-in. That's going to be our biggest challenge, that to persuade the people in the center to have the strong support in favor of Moon Jae-in.
To get out and vote, essentially.
To get out and vote, yes.
Now we know Moon Jae-in's going to be very busy on the campaign trail, talking to those voters over the next few days. We know you support Moon Jae-in in this campaign. Curious, though, as to why you believe Park Geun-hye should not be the next leader of South Korea. Give us 2 reasons for that.
Actually, I'm not here to criticize, or I'm not here to explain to the voters that why Ms. Park should not be the president. Rather, I'm here to show the voters why Mr. Moon should be the president of South Korea. So, I mean, Mr. Moon was born in a very poor family. He is from a refugee family, and he has been a student activist fighting against the dictatorship when he was young. And he has been a human rights lawyer for the entire his life. So, that says a lot of things about his personality and his mentality. His life says a lot of things. His background explains to you that he knows and understands these pains and sufferings and difficulties and problems to be faced by ordinary people, hardworking middle-class people every day. But in contrast to him, I'm skeptical about Ms. Park's understanding of these so-called ordinary people, because she wasn't there. She didn't have any hands-on experience as a member of the ordinary people who has these everyday challenges to face the life.
You think she's out of touch, essentially? Yes,
essentially it is, right? And second, leadership in the next century, for the future, is going to be basically a companionship on an equal footing. As a president, you are not superior. You are going to talk to your people, and you can communicate with your people. That's why Mr. Moon, yesterday, he announced that he's going to move his office from the Blue House to the Gwanghwamun office, so that he can have the contact with the ordinary people every day. He can just go out the street and he can have beer when he's done with his work every day. So that's the communication with the ordinary people is very important. And I don't think Ms. Park is good at it. I'm wondering whether she has the communication skills with people, or a willingness to even communicate with the ordinary people surrounding her.
You're talking about something that Moon Jae-in spoke about in the first debate. He said that if he were to become president, he would like to reduce the powers of the president, which is something that you're sort of brushing on here. I'm curious more about that, though. Can you explain that for us? What does he mean by that exactly?
Okay. The Korean presidential system is sort of abnormal in some ways, because, in the beginning, the first part of your presidency, this president has power, something like an emperor. He's prevailed for everything. And then as time goes by, in the latter part of the presidential term, the president is just becoming a serious lame duck. He doesn't have anything to control. So that's a serious problem. So what Mr. Moon addressed in his first televised debate was that he is not going to act like an emperor. He is going to share reasonable balancing of the power among the relevant parties. He is not going to make decision of his own. Well, of course, he's not like acting an advisor. He is a tough man. He's soft but strong. So whenever he needs to be determined and decisive, he is like that. But he's not going to manipulate everything on his own. So he's going to have this consultation with the people who can give advice to him.
Regarding chaebol reform, a very hot topic in this election, there are plenty of experts out there that doubt that reforming the corporate structure, as Moon has proposed, is possible considering the economic environment right now. They say Moon's policy pledges are not attainable really in this environment right now. Why should voters believe that Moon is going to succeed in achieving true chaebol reform where others have not succeeded, where they have tried but not succeeded?
Okay. I mean, Scott, just a reminder, the crisis has been there all the time. There was no time that people say that it's easy and you can just enjoy yourself because the economy is good. Economic crisis has been there like whenever since the Korea was established. So it's not, I mean, there is nothing like a good time for reform of the chaebol or economic democratization.
The question is, why is Moon the right person to do that, though?
Because he's the right person. He believes in democracy. And economic democratization gets along with the political democratization. Without belief in political democracy, you just cannot pursue economic democratization because that's based on fairness and equity of the values and all those people's desires. That's why Ms. Park, she is just trying to make a cosmetic change. That's why she has this limitation and restriction in pursuing economic democratization because she lacks the belief in political democratization as well. So that's why Moon is the right person to do this.
Now it's time to ask two questions that we got from the Park Geun-hye camp directly addressed to you. And we'll start with the first one. It has to do with North Korean defectors. When there was a demonstration against forced repatriations of North Korean defectors from Chinese territory, former lawmaker Park Sun-young staged a hunger strike. Ahn Cheol-soo visited her, and Park Geun-hye sent a letter to then Chinese President Hu Jintao asking China to take action. But the leadership from the opposition party, including Moon Jae-in, offered no specific opinions regarding this issue. I want to hear the reason why and ask what kind of action Moon will take against forced repatriations of North Korean defectors from China.
Were they successful in pursuing their argument? They were not, sort of. Because in this kind of situation, China controls everything. They should be agreeing to the fact that the political refugees from North Korea are actually defectors. So without cooperation and collaboration of the Chinese government, you cannot make anything. There's nothing to be accomplished. So here, under the current administration, there was no good relationship and no direct communication channel between the Korean government and the Chinese government. So that's why that issue was not handled successfully. So Mr. Moon is, of course, he admits that these defectors are political refugees. But still, you need to pursue an effective resolution to make this issue settled. And his belief is that you just cannot make resolution of the issues just going out to street demonstration and shouting and crying like that. You need to contact the Chinese government and you need to have collaboration and communication and dialogue. Yes, diplomacy is the most important. You need to work with Chinese government to do this.
The second, Moon Jae-in pledged to introduce a ceiling of 1 million won per year for medical expenses. That will cost 90 trillion won per year. What methods does Moon Jae-in plan to take to secure revenues for that?
Okay, let me correct the number. It's not 90 trillion, it's it's not 9 trillion, 8.5 trillion to be precise. And just let me remind you that under the current Lee Myung-bak administration, there was a huge tax cut for the rich and the big conglomerates, and it was 100 trillion Korean won. And plus for river refurbishment project, they spent 22 trillion Korean won, and the total sum is 122 trillion Korean won. It's extremely huge amount of money. And I said 8.5 trillion money is going to required to have this ceiling for the under medical expense. So with that 122 trillion Korean won, without spending those kind of money for the unnecessary, unpointed, ineffective projects like for river projects, we can have financing for to support those kind of projects. So it's not going to be any problem.
And this keeps coming back to the issue of where is all this money going to come from, which is a question that has been asked and will continue to be asked for the next few days. We are unfortunately running out of time, but I do want to give you a chance to make your final case to the voters who may be undecided right now. Why should they vote for Moon Jae-in?
Okay, very good. Just forget everything else and remember one thing. On the morning of December 19th, election day, you wake up and you go to vote. And remember this, Moon Jae-in is a reformer, but a safe and stable reformer. He's going to make the changes that he wants for you and yourself and your family and our society, but in very stable, predictable way. So you are not going to feel nervous or frustrated or dissatisfied with the changes he's going to make. Rather, you are going to feel happy, content, and satisfied with the changes he's going to make for the next 5 years. Isn't this basically what you trying to expect from the president of South Korea? And I think that's it is. I mean, so we can just make a better future to make a progress and to have a reform for all those deficiencies which are witnessed in Korea. We can do it. And since we don't have much time, I can bring about like thousands of reasons why you should vote for Moon Jae-in. But let me just say one thing. Last Wednesday, actually 2 days ago, Mr. Yoon Yeol-jun, ex-minister, the gentleman I respect, had this speech in favor of Mr. Moon, and his speech was truly remarkable. So I want to ask you to listen to his speech so that you can be persuaded and you can be sure why you should go out and vote for Moon Jae-in on December 19th. Thank you.
Shin-jian, we'll be watching on December 19th, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure.
And that's all the time we have this week, which leaves us with just one question remaining. Who will be the next leader of South Korea? By this time next week, we'll know the answer to that question. In the meantime, check out our webpage and leave us a comment there, or follow us on Twitter and drop us a line there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week after 10.